At Kaizen, we know it's the science that makes the difference. The right solutions happen when you care enough to ask the right questions. And we understand that your performance is directly related to ours. Science knows why it works, care knows why it's important.
Hi, it's Keith Bryant, and welcome to the first Keith Bryant show of Apex 2022. And I'm here with Peter and Francois, who are from two different companies, but really it's one company. So I'm going to leave it to them to explain the details. So over to you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Keith, for the introduction. Maybe let's explain this one more time, why we are one company. So the ITAC Group was enlarged last year with Cogiscan. So ITAC has now ITAC itself, of course, Dualis and Cogiscan, and we one group. And we have now one common product offering with Productronica. We showed now our complete offering that is all in one software. So all of our solutions that all the three companies are offering now are available in one solution for the customer. And the customer will not see any difference, right? And I think Francois is here as well, and he's now 1 year with us. And maybe we can explain how it feels to be part of the ITAC Group.
Of course, thank you, Peter. Well, the funny thing is, a small industry, as you know, Keith, and Peter and I actually used to work together back in the days at Universal Instruments, well before we joined ITAC and Cogiscan, respectively. But in the end, our company started working together actually 10 years ago because of the complementarity of our offering. Right? Cogiscan is really focused on shop floor control solution, machine connectivity, and this layer of software, if you like, whereas ITAC is the high-level MES. So their basically approach has been from the top down and us from the bottom up. And of course, the complementary solutions were always there. So, maybe 2 years ago, we started having the discussion about joining forces to be part of the same group and now offering the combined solution. Because of the trends in the market for digitalization, companies are looking at the big picture now. They don't want to buy just point solutions and solve one problem at a time. They want to be able to go to one group that can offer the complete journey to the smart factory, and that's basically what we can offer now.
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying, because a lot of guys working with IPC CFX are connecting equipment together, but it needs that overall umbrella of the control system where you can monitor the trends and check all the other things. And as you say, the big picture stuff of Industry 4.0, and it's really one. You guys are saying it's a complementary solution, but I hate to argue with my guests, but for me, it's one solution, because one bit doesn't work without the other bit, and you need to put those two bits together to give a factory the control that it needs these days to be effective and efficient and reduce the waste and the inefficiencies and all the other things. So it's like a perfect marriage between you two guys.
Yeah, and I think what you need to consider now is we offer now not only an MES, we offer a MOM solution. That means we can supply all the software that is needed in a factory. So we are talking about planning, we're talking about MES features, of course, but also we're talking about analytics, and that gets even equally important these days, because for the last couple of years, we did MES reports, data, showed the data, right? And you could see what's happening right now, right? Now what we want to do in the future, we want to predict what will happen in the future, and with that prevent things from happening. So we're going from the prediction to the prevention, right? And I think that's a big step forward. And to do so, you have to have a solution that covers everything. Otherwise, it gets very difficult to exchange data, to analyze the data, and get really some benefits for the customer.
Yeah. So are you also doing preventative maintenance and predictive mean times of failures and all of these kind of things?
Yes. So we have incorporated inside of our software also a solution where you can add AI to the system, so you can write your own algorithms. We as ITAC develop also standard algorithms that you can use, and then we can optimize the manufacturing processes, we can optimize machines, we can do prevention for maintenance and so on. That's actually our goal, right? And of course with the mother company Dürr, they do it for their robots too. And as you can imagine, we have a digital factory within Dürr, and we utilize also algorithms they did for their robots inside our software as well.
Yeah, what I'd like to add to that is you mentioned this one solution, but the one solution is not only software, it goes back to the equipment itself. So Cogiscan has been for many years working directly with the machine vendors, most of the leading vendors in the industry like ASM, Universal, Micronic, Juki, and so on. And we actually work together to provide software technology that they can integrate with their own machines and sell to their customers, right? So at the end of the day, all of this can seamlessly connect and share data. So you mentioned CFX. We developed CFX interfaces for several of the machine vendors at the show, so they don't have to do this themselves because they're mostly machine, engineering companies, and they're not really software or integration experts, which we are. So that's our role in this whole ecosystem, is to work with the machine vendors, work with the MES high-level system, and get all this to talk to each other to work seamlessly as one system.
Yeah. So effectively, you're binding everything together from the shop floor right the way through to the almost to the CEO's office, where he can take an overview and look at exactly what's happening, and maybe he can even compare his factory to other factories owned by the same group.
And he can see what will happen maybe in the next hour or the next 4 hours, right? And then see, oh, I maybe need to take an action now that I don't have a problem in 4 hours. So you can prevent things from happening. I think that's the overall strategy. And one very important element is, number one, connectivity to machines. Number two, get all the data. And that's where the expertise from Cogiscan comes in very nicely for us, because they know all the machines, they know which data are available, and then they can get it all to us for the analytics, right? And that's, I think, a very important step for us.
What we're seeing also from some of the leading electronics manufacturing companies, the OEMs especially, a lot of times they manufacture a little bit internally, but they outsource most of that, to the Flex and Jabil of this world. And somehow they want to have visibility on their supply chain as well, right? So they want to be able to see where their product is at and how is it built according to specifications. They want full records, they want actually to control even factories that don't belong to them, right? So this whole picture of the digitalization is really across the whole industry, and it takes bigger companies to be able to achieve those kinds of visions. That's why the joining of the forces again.
But when you look at it right now, right, every company, or bigger companies at least, have a digital strategy for the next 5 years, right? And also there we try to provide here the right things, because IoT technology will be the base in the future, right? So I always say to my people, right, the half of the world is developing right now software for IoT technology, right? And we have now changed our software as well, so that we are using this technology, and with that we get access to all these features and all the things that are available to us. So we can run on an IoT platform, we have Dockerized our software, right? And with that we can do all kinds of nice things from the performance point of view, and also the ability that we can handle this amount of data, because, the data getting more and more. So we're not talking about a few values, we're talking about lots of data, terabytes of data that we need to analyze. And to do so, you have to have the right technology as well, otherwise it will not work.
And you find that the technology that's out there is keeping up with everything that you need it to do?
Yeah, I think so, right? And it opens up also complete new possibilities, right? And I think that's the major point, right? On an IoT platform, you have a lot of tools that you can use to do analytics of lots of data and huge data amounts. On the other hand, you need also edge devices, because it can get quite expensive when you upload everything in the cloud, right? So there is this combination between the two that makes a strong solution.
What we're seeing also that's important for our customers is that they don't just build circuit boards, right? So you mentioned CFX, which is a standard for SMT industry, but actually people that build circuit boards, these circuit boards go into a finished product, whether it's a car, whether it's a smartphone or something else, or an airplane. So when they look at the digitalization, they look at it from the design to the manufacturing of the circuit boards all the way to the finished product. And again, Cogiscan itself can only help in the electronics part of the assembly, but companies like ITAC, can go all the way to the final box build, which is the key to have, again, a complete solution. So that's also very important, to have this combined products that can seamlessly integrate, but they can also, each one is an expert in its own field at the same time.
When you look at it, we are right now very strong in the electrical vehicle business, I would say. So the supply chain of it, right? The generator, motor generator assembly, and there, of course, you have electronics too, right? So you start with the boards, and then you do the mechanics, and we can cover all of that. And I think that's for us a very strong position to be in, So we can do the electronics, but as well we can do the assembly, the final assembly as well.
Okay, well, gentlemen, thank you for a very enlightening chat this morning. Thank you for coming in to join me. And I hope the rest of the show works out very well for you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having us, Keith.
Thanks for having us. Bye-bye.